Solenoid. A transmission shift solenoid controls the flow of transmission fluid. This is done through a module that sends an electrical signal telling the shift solenoid exactly when to transfer fluid in and out of the transmission along with the right rate. The role of a shift solenoid will vary based on the transmission type and whether it is in a manual, continuously variable, or automatic one. If your car has an automatic transmission, the shift solenoid will shift the gears for you. The transmission control unit will take the information from the engine, speed sensors, and other parts of your vehicle to decide when to shift gears for power and fuel efficiency. It will determine the ideal time the transmission should be shifted, and the control unit will send power to open the shift solenoid to allow transmission fluid to flow into the valve body. This causes the torque converter in the car to change hydraulic pressure to the point where it can shift gears. Welcome to our YouTube channel. We bring you interesting topics about the automobile and provide a lucid explanation of topics related to the car's important components. I share helpful and professional tips to help you maintain your car, and today I will be talking about an important and interesting topic: causes and symptoms of bad shift solenoid. Shift solenoid malfunctions can be the result of a variety of both mechanical and electrical faults. These solenoids are typically used to regulate a valve body or to control clutch packs in a more direct manner. One cause of shift solenoid malfunction is if the solenoid itself becomes stuck, though a plugged valve can also result in various issues. Electrical problems can also cause a shift solenoid malfunction since these components require battery voltage. Any wiring or component between the solenoid and the transmission control unit can theoretically cause a shift solenoid malfunction. Many common shift solenoid malfunctions are mechanical in nature, such as a stuck plunger. This type of shift solenoid malfunction is typically caused by fluid contamination that results in the plunger not moving when it receives a signal. The vehicle will usually fail to shift properly when this occurs, and a trouble code might be set in the computer. Stuck plungers typically cannot be repaired, so the whole unit usually has to be replaced. This typically requires removing the transmission pan, and the valve body sometimes must be lowered as well. Symptoms of a bad transmission solenoid include: 1. Unusual gear shifts. This is one of the most prevalent shifting solenoid problems. When this part of your vehicle becomes faulty, you can experience unpredictable or unexpected gear shifting. For instance, when you're driving with a specific gear and the vehicle suddenly makes an unexpected shift to a higher gear, this can be dangerous for the driver and the vehicle as well. The solenoids are only open to take in the proper volume of fluid and closed to prevent too much fluid. However, a bad transmission solenoid fuse or faulty wiring in the solenoid can make your vehicle make an unexpected gear shift. This means you may experience an unexpected shift to a higher gear, thereby increasing the vehicle's speed. The gear may also shift to a lower one when you're trying to accelerate or get past a slower vehicle. You must ask for the help of a transmission expert as soon as you start seeing symptoms like this. Ignoring it will only result in more catastrophic and expensive problems for the owner and the vehicle itself. 2. Delayed shifting. Pressure is what propels automatic transmission. This means that the pressure within is what controls a vehicle gear shifting, and the solenoid controls this pressure. Unfortunately, solenoids don't last forever. After several years of consistent use, they become old and start to fail. This is when you start noticing problems with the vehicle transmission shifting, especially when it takes longer than usual. For instance, you may notice an unusually long transmission shift response gap. If your vehicle is taking longer than the normal time to shift, it's likely a problem with the solenoid. Sometimes, dirty fluids in the solenoid can cause it to close or stay open. This, in turn, makes your vehicle transmission function abnormally or take longer than expected. Therefore, bad transmission relay symptoms like this should be addressed. 3. Unable to downshift. Sometimes, a problem with a vehicle solenoid may not affect acceleration and gear upshifting, but then you will experience difficulty in downshifting, either slow downshifting or the vehicle not downshifting at all. This happens when your vehicle's transmission solenoid becomes faulty and stuck open. There could be several reasons for this. First, it can be a problem with the internal wiring of the solenoid. Bad wiring within the solenoid may not transmit electrical signals, causing it to stay open, take in more fluids and pressure, and be unable to downshift. Another reason is simply a damaged solenoid. When the solenoid is damaged, you will experience downshifting difficulties like this. Your vehicle may also be unresponsiveness to downshifting due to the intake of dirty fluid. 4. Check the engine light signal. When the check engine light comes on, it means your engine has a problem that requires attention. Therefore, it shouldn't be ignored. When this light is on, the vehicle's transmission often switches to safe mode, making it more difficult for you to drive. In cases like this, you'd be limited to certain gears and power, making it obvious that there's a problem with the vehicle engine which needs urgent attention. When this happens, don't hesitate to call for the help of a transmission expert or a mechanic. In conclusion, either you decide to replace the solenoid fluid or do a transmission flush. It's always worth it and not expensive. A scanner is important for transmission solenoid troubleshooting or diagnosis. To do this, you need to find a transmission diagram that shows the wiring pattern. Next, you'll need to look for the pins that go to the faulty solenoid. Remove the transmission plug that's on the transmission. Then use the scanner to detect the faulty shift solenoid. The trouble codes from the transmission shift solenoid test will help you understand the problem. Thank you for taking out time to watch that interesting and educative video. I am sure you got value.